Hey everybody, Pokemon Sword with a team of one Scorbunny was surprisingly difficult. This time we're going to do a more highly requested challenge. So, today is the day. We are going to see if I can beat Pokemon Platinum with a team of only one Bidoof. Bidoof is the early game normal type Pokemon known for being the HM slave in a region that made the term HM slave very popular. His stats are very poor, with the highest base stat being HP at 59, and his lowest being a base speed of 31. While leveling up, we learn a few good moves such as Super Fang, Hyper Fang, Rollout. Then we get to the TM and HM list, with moves such as Shadow Ball to hit ghost types, and Pluck for type coverage. When it comes to typings, we're only weak to fighting, and we're completely immune to ghost. However, we are resistant to nothing in this run. Just like last time, I'm writing the script as I go through the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I believe that this is going to be a much harder challenge than what I'm used to, and I'm going to want to drive my head into a brick wall quite a few times, but I believe that we'll be able to succeed. Alright, let's explain the rules. In combat, I will only be allowed to use Bidoof. I will need other Pokemon for HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of them in battle. No glitches or exploits. No items in battle. Held items and items outside of combat are allowed, however. I used the Universal Randomizer to replace Turtwig with Bidoof. I do this so a rival can have Chimchar, which will later turn into a fighting type, giving him the advantage. Wallberry time, and he sends out Chimchar. He starts off with Leer, while I use Tackle. Missing. Great start. He leers me again, and this time I hit Tackle. He leers a third time, while I Tackle a third time. And one more leer before I knock him out with one last tackle. So, now that that's out of the way, I checked the nature of our Bidoof, which happens to be quirky. It's alright, it's neutral, but I would have preferred adamant. Oh well. We go to see the professor, and he allows me to nickname our Bidoof. I name him Bidoof, because Anubis Streams told me to. When I exit the lab, I receive a very useful TM called Return. This move does more damage the higher our friendship is. So Bidoof is going to have a very high friendship by the end of this run. Once we enter Route 2 of 3, Wallberry wants to fight us. He starts off with Pidgey? Anyway, we take out the Starly with one critical return, and then he sends out Chimchar. He uses Scratch, and I use Return, dealing half of his HP. Next he uses Leer, as I use Return once more, bringing him to low red. He uses Leer one final time, allowing us to hit Return, getting us the win. At level 21, we attempt Rourke. He starts off with Geodude. I start by using Hyper Fang and hit a critical down to low yellow. He uses Stealth Rock. Then, using a potion, as I use another Hyper Fang. I use Return, as he uses Rock Throw. I then miss a Hyper Fang as he lands another Rock Throw. I then land Hyper Fang as he uses yet another Rock Throw. I then knock him out with Headbutt, and next is Onix. I use Hyper Fang as he uses Rock Throw. I then use Return, he uses another Rock Throw. I once again use Return as he uses Rock Throw. I return once more, he hits a critical Rock Throw, dropping me to 3 HP, and then uses a potion. I use Return on my next turn, then I use Hyper Fang. He misses Rock Throw. I deal one more Hyper Fang before he takes us out with Rock Throw. We need to train some more. At level 28, I try again. I start by using Hyper Fang, dealing half HP to Geodude, and he flinches! And then Hyper Fang again, taking him out. Second is Onix. I begin with Hyper Fang, dealing a quarter HP, uses Rock Throw. I then start a Rollout. Uses rock throw. My rollout continues. Rock throws again, then uses a potion. But it doesn't matter as rollout takes him out with a critical on the next run. Finally, it's Kratos, who goes down to one final rollout, winning us the fight and earning us the coal badge. On our way to Floroma Town, I get stopped by the Professor and Dawn. Apparently we gotta fight some astronauts calling themselves Team Galactic. Anyway, they use Glammeow and Stunky. I use Return on the Glammeow while the Stunky misses poison gas. Dawn's Piplup uses Bubble on the Stunky. I then roll out and Dawn uses Bubble Beam, and we win the fight. In the Valley of Windworks, I deal with the Roman God of War. She starts off with Zubat, who goes down to one return, and then comes out the big fat cat. I flinch as she uses Fake Out, and on the next turn I use Return, bringing it to red, but her berry activates. She uses Feint Attack, and I use Return, knocking her out, winning us the fight, and freeing this father from some evil team. But the balloon Pokemon gets to come back now. Gardenia time, and she starts off with the starter we replaced. Hey! I use Return, taking it to low red, as she sets up a Reflect, and then uses a Super Potion. I return again, and one more return later, sends out the Cherry. I use Hyper Fang, dealing a quarter HP, as she sets up a Safeguard. I use Return again, she Leech Seeds us, and one last return takes it out, and here comes the Queen of Roses. I use Return, taking her to low HP, making her use her Berry, as she takes some HP from Leech Seed. I then return once more, winning us the fight and earning us the Forest Badge. Before we're done here, it's time to invade the Galactic HQ. I beat up the leader of the entire Roman mythology, as she starts off with insert random bat here, as I use Return to one-shot it, and next is the big bad skunk. She hits me with a Night Slash as I hit her with Return. She uses her Citrus Berry, as she poisons me with Poison Gas. I use Return again. She uses a Night Slash one more time before I take her out with one final return. So much for being the god of the Roman pantheon. Ghost Girl time, and she starts off with a floating skull. I use Thief as she sets up a Future Sight. I then take her out with another Thief, and second is... oh, it's a ghost. I use Thief as she hangs on with very little HP, and makes me very confused. Then, uses a Super Potion, as I attempt to use a Thief, and one more Thief later, knocks it out, and last is, Ghost of a Hat. I use Thief, she uses Psybeam, I use Thief again, and she heals with a Citrus Berry, then uses Psybeam, as I use Thief once more. She uses Confuse Ray, giving me the win with one last Thief, earning us the Relic Badge. Wallberry time, and he starts off with a Starbird. I use Return. He creates more birds! And then I take him out with another return. Next is Fighting Monkey. He uses Mach Punch. I use Return. Mach Punches once more as I use Return, taking him out. And next is Otter, who goes down to one return. And last is I'm Not Quite Rose Hands Yet, who also goes down to one return, winning us the fight. Fighting check time. And she starts off with a Meditite. It's the best name you can come up with. I use Pluck to one-shot it, and next is I'ma choke you out. We hit Pluck. She karate chops me in the throat, getting a crit, before I take it down with another Pluck. Last is Battle Wolf. And I get hit by Metal Claw, and we lose. On our second attempt, the Meditite hits Fake Out before going down to a Pluck, and back out with the Choke Bitch. Pluck, followed by Rock Tomb, and a Karate Chop, before I take it out with one last Pluck. Last is Fighting Wolf again, who uses Drain Punch, knocking us out. Yeah, we need to train more. I come back at level 50, and the Meditite uses Fake Out, therefore I flinch. Then use Curse, as she uses Rock Tomb. Meditite uses Drain Punch, and I pluck, taking it out. Choke is next and uses Karate Chop. I use Pluck, knocking out, and last is Fighting Wolf. Uses Drain Punch, taking me to 8 HP. We use Pluck, taking her to mid-yellow, as she takes us out with a Force Palm. Back to grinding. At level 55, I return again. Meditite uses Fake Out, therefore I flinch, and then goes down to a Pluck on the next turn. I'ma Choke You Out is back. And Pluck brings him down to a Sliver. And then she misses Rock Tomb. I think she's going to heal, so I go for a return, but she doesn't, and I take it out. Last is Lucario. I get hit by a critical Drain Punch, dropping me to 33 HP, and I use Return, dealing half. I then get taken out with Force Palm. We can do this. I believe it. On the next attempt, Meditite goes down to a single Pluck. I'ma Choke You Out goes down to a single return, leaving me at full HP for Lucario, who uses Drain Punch, bringing me to 95 HP. See, I knew we could kind of do this. Then I hit her with Return. She uses Force Palm, leaving me at 39 HP. And all we have to do now is take her out with a second return. Finally getting us to Cobble Badge. That took 6 attempts, but this brick wall is finally complete. Before heading to Pastoria, I have to get Dawn's Pokedex back, because she's completely useless without me. I mean, just look at how fast I go down. I have the gameplay sped up here, but it's still one shot after one shot. Outside the Pastoria City gym, Walberry challenges us. He starts off with his curly-haired bird, who just barely hangs on to a return, goes for double team, before going down to another return. Second is Fighting Monkey, who uses Mach Punch, barely doing anything as I use Return twice to take him out. Third is, I'm not quite Rose Hands yet, take him out with a single return. And last is Otter, who goes down to my new Shockwave, which will replace for Pluck, winning us the fight. You see later, Gen? You see this? Generations 5, 6, 7, and 8? This is how you space out rival fights. Not, hey, it's been an hour, every gym, or not even an hour, hey, it's your pre-gym warm-up to see if you aren't underleveled. Lucha Libre time! And he starts off with Water Onyx. I use one Shockwave to knock it out. Next is Bigger Otter, who uses Brine while I use Shockwave. He brines once more, and I Shockwave again, getting a crit. And last is, I am part ground type, so fuck you. I use Return, he uses Mud Shot, I return once more as he uses Lawn. If he heals, we're doomed. Fuck! Attempt number 2, and Water Onyx goes down the same way as before, as does Bigger Otter. Haha, I'm a ground type, fuck you, bitch. Time, and I use Return. He uses Rock Tomb. I return again, Rock Tombs once more, then heals as I use Return twice thanks to that potion. He then uses Mud Shot and takes me on the next turn with Water Pulse. One more attempt and Water Onyx survives Shockwave, then uses Waterfall and heals before going down to 2 more Shockwaves. Next is Bigger Otter, uses Brine while I use Shockwave, then takes me out with Brine. Guess we need to train some more. At level 60, I come back and take out Water Onyx with one Shockwave, and next is Bigger Otter, who uses Brine while I use Shockwave. Uses Brine once more, and he uses another Shockwave, taking it out, and last is, haha, fuck you, I'm part ground type. I use Return, he uses Rock Tomb, and we finish him off with fun. One final return, winning us the fight and earning us the Fen Badge. After leaving the gym and talking to Macho Man Lucha Libre at the Great Marsh, a bomb goes off. An astronaut runs away and we chase him down and just absolutely whip his ass with our godly Bidoof. After that, we get some drugs from a strange lady who looks awfully a lot like the champion. North of Salacion Town, we drug some ducks, and our drug dealer gives us more drugs to give to her grandmother? Now in Celestic Town, we beat up an astronaut, and then we deliver the drugs. We then go inside some ruins, and it turns out the big boss man shows up and wants to fight. He starts off with Sneasel, he uses Screech, I use Return to one-shot, and next is Golbat. I use Shockwave, he uses Poison Fang, and then take him out with another Shockwave. Last is Murkrow. He uses Drill Peck, I use Shockwave, and he takes us out with Drill Peck. We lost. Shit. Take 2 and I one-shot the Sneasel, the Golbat, and the Murkrow. That's better. Wallberry time, he starts off with Staraptor. He uses Double Team, and I use Return. He then uses Takedown, and we finish him off with another Return. Second is Heracross. I use Return, he uses Brick Break, and I use Return knocking him out. And third is Infernape, who takes us out with Mach Punch. We need to train some more. I come back at level 69 and use Return on the Staraptor. He uses Double Team before going down to another Return. Heracross is next, and he gets hit by Return, uses Night Slash, and goes down to Return. Third is Infernape, who uses Brick Break. I use Return, another trade, and he goes down. Floatzel is next, and I use Shockwave. He uses Swift, before taking us out with Shockwave. I try a few more times and come back at level 75. I one-shot the Staraptor with Shockwave, then one-shot the Heracross with Return. Infernape gets hit by Return, uses Brick Break before going down to Return. Floatzel gets one shot by Return, and last is Roserade, who goes down to 1 Return, winning us the fight. This was my 5th or 6th attempt. This brick wall is finally over. New brick wall time, it's Byron. His Magneton survives Return, uses Thunderbolt, then goes down to another Return. Now we meet the 2 brick walls of his team. Steelix is first, and look at how little damage we do, and how much he does to us. Keep in mind, we're twice his level. When we finally take him down, we're at 34 HP, and the second brick wall Bastiodon makes short work of us by tanking Return twice, and hits us on his second try with Stone Edge. 6 attempts later, I return at level 85. I take out Magneton with Dig, and Steelix is next. We use Return, he uses Earthquake, then Sandstorm as we dig, and he goes down. Bastiodon is last, and I dig immediately to one-shot as he's quad weak, earning us the Mind Badge. Now it's that time of the game where we have to do a bunch of Team Galactic stuff at the lakes. We're destined for Lake Valor. If you like him, you should put a ring on him. It's Saturn time. He starts off with Golbat, who goes down to 1 Return. Toxicroak is next, and he goes down to a Dig. Last is Bronzor, who resists Return, uses Iron Defense, and goes down next turn, getting a flawless victory over him. Next! The Roman God of War wants revenge, but goes down easier than last time. I one-shot the Golbat, 2-shot the Bronzor, she attempted Confuse Ray. The Prugly uses Fake Out and goes down to 1 Return. Next! Wait. No. No, 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 not the snow part of Santa. Oh. Ice Lady time. She starts with Sneasel, who goes down to a single Return. Second is Snowbomber. I use Return. She uses Avalanche, then heals while I use Return again. 1 more Return, and she's down. Third is Frostlash. She uses Double Team. I use Dig. She then almost knocks us out with Blizzard. I use Dig again, and she goes down. Last is Swine. We one-shot with Return, winning us the fight with 35 HP, and get the Escal badge on our first try. We now head to Lake Acuity to see that Wallberry lost. Now to once again face off against the big boss man in his headquarters. He starts off with Sneasel, goes down to a single Return, and next is Crobat. He uses cross poison and badly poisons us, putting us on a time limit. I use return to one shot, and last is Honchkrow, who goes down to a single return, winning us the fight. Ring King is up again. That's right, it's Saturn. And he's just as bad as last time. One shot the first two Pokemon, and Bronzor goes down in 2 attacks. It's the end of the world as we know it. After going for the cool Distortion World, it's Big Boss Man time. He starts off with Houndoom. I use Dig to one shot, and second is Honchkrow. I use Return, also one-shotting, and third is Gyarados. I use Return, he uses Waterfall, and goes down to another Return. Fourth is Crobat. I get hit by Toxic, and use Return. He uses Confuse Ray. I hit myself with Confusion, and he air slashes us 3 times before I go down. Damn fucking flinches. On the third attempt, and the first half goes the same way. When Crobat comes out, he uses Air Slash. I use Return. He uses another Air Slash. I return again, and take him out. Last is Weavile, and he uses Fake Out. Then Ice Punch. I use Dig, dealing a quarter HP. He uses Ice Punch as I accidentally use Dig. And he uses X-Scissor, leaving me at 2 HP, allowing me to hit Return for the win. That couldn't get any closer. Now it's time for the Shockmaster, and he starts with Jolteon. I use Dig to one shot, next is Raichu, who also goes down to 1 Dig. Third is Electivire, who goes down to 1 Dig, and last but not least is Luxray. I use Dig, he uses Thunderfang to crit and paralyze me, then heals. I use Return again, he uses Thunderfang once more, and I use Return once more, getting us the win and the Beacon Badge. It's time for the Elite Four. Rival 5-0 time, and I start by using Return and get hit by Close Combat. I then use Return to take it out. Next is Heracross, who tanks Return, also uses Close Combat, taking me out. Well, time to go to level 100. So Staraptor survives Return, uses Close Combat. I return again, and next is Heracross. Next Return, he uses Close Combat. I survive at 6 HP, and take him out before Infernape finishes me off. I try again with a Life Orb, and it goes much better. I one-shot the Staraptor, Heracross, Infernape, and Floatzel. Snorlax tanks a Return, uses Body Slam, paralyzing us, and uses Rest. I use Return twice to take him out, and last is Roserade, who takes us out. One more try, I again one-shot Staraptor, Heracross, Infernape, and Floatzel. Snorlax tanks Return again, uses Body Slam before going down, and Roserade is last. We hit Return, one-shotting, winning us the fight at 30 HP because of the Life Orb. Buzz, 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 it's Aaron time! And Bidoof has a Choice Band on. I one-shot the Mega, Heracross, and Vespiquen. Scizor survives and uses X-Scissor, then full restores before going down to 2 returns. Last is Drapion, he uses Cross Poison before going down to a single return, winning us the fight. This is why you aren't a bug trainer in the Elite Four. Grandma Bertha is next, and I use Return on Whiscash, taking it out, and next is Gliscor. I use Return, and third is Hippowdon. I use Return again, she barely hangs on before she uses Earthquake. She then full restores while I use Return twice in a row, and fourth is Golem. I use Return, she uses Earthquake, I use Return again, she hangs on, uses Earthquake to take us out. Take 2, and I taught myself Grass Knot. I use it on Whiscash, the one-shot, and next is Gliscor. I accidentally use Grass Knot, she Earthquakes. I use Return and take it out. Next is Hippowdon. I use Grass Knot to one-shot, and fourth is Golem, who goes down to 1 Grass Knot, and last is Rhyperior, who goes down to 1 Grass Knot, winning us the fight. Ronald McDonald is next, and he starts off with Houndoom, who goes down to a single return. Second is Infernape. He outspeeds, hits Flare Blitz. I use Return to one-shot, and third is Flareon, who goes down to a return. Fourth is Rapidash, uses Flare Blitz before, guess what, going down to a single return. And last is Magmortar, who, you guessed it, uses a single return, winning us the fight, and we get our Happy Meal. Bookworm is the last Elite Four member, and he isn't very easy. Mr. Mime sets up a reflect, and I use return. He full restores and goes down to 2 returns. Second is Gallade. I use return. He uses Drain Punch. I use return again, and he uses Psycho Cut. Reflect wears off, and I use Thief before going down. Take 2. Mr. Mime goes down to a single return. Gallade is next. I use return. He barely hangs on. Uses a Drain Punch as well as his Citrus Berry. I return once more and he's down. Third is Alakazam, who misses Focus Blast. Holy shit. And goes down to a single return. Espeon is out and uses Psychic to take me down to 30 HP before it gets taken out. Bronzong is last, and he just takes us out. 6 tries later, and I get this run. I use Double Team 4 times, get hit by a Psychic, and use Double Team twice more before I take him out with Return. Gallade is next, and I use Return. He survives, uses Drain Punch before going down to Return. Alakazam is next, misses Focus Blast, and goes down. This move has been my downfall this whole time. Espeon gets 1 shot, and Bronzong uses Psychic on me. And then full restores, and with that I take him out in 3 returns. Satan, the champion. And I need to mention that this is something I never foresaw. This is an impossible win. I tried 100 different times with Brett by my side helping me out with strategies and stuff, and I can never get past her Lucario. Aura Sphere just does too much damage and will always one-shot me. Even with Double Team it's impossible, because Aura Sphere bypasses the accuracy check. Take a look at this. This is some of my attempts sped up. The only way to win this battle is to guarantee she never hits me unless it's the one Aura Sphere, because apparently it'll do 65 to 72%. It sucks because you can't win this way. So unfortunately, you cannot beat Pokemon Platinum with a team of only 1 Bidoof. I don't know what I'm going to do for my next challenge yet. Leave some suggestions in the comments below. I look at all your suggestions. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Remember to like, comment down, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to know when I upload a video. I hope you enjoyed this challenge, and I'll see you all next time. Enjoy the rest of my attempts.